It's time for Cutting Edge Consciousness with Freeman Michaels and Barnett Bain. Thought-provoking discussions and bold ideas from the edge of possibility.
Circumstances are, there's something happening in the world. There's a world event, or at least a United States event, and there's a lot of charge going on. And you, in particular, Barnett, and me, I have my own charge, but we're talking about you right now, have a charge about it. And the idea is that the charge, there's all these assumptions drawn out of the charge. There's all these ways in which your charge gets projected onto people, onto events, onto circumstances, onto whatever, as if it's happening out there. And what we recognize is that it's happening inside of us and being reflected back to us in the circumstances that are going on in front of us. And to the degree that we draw in other folks to collude with us on our opinion or our charge or our whatever.
Because it's a fit with their own scripts.
We match up. Yeah. We match up with other folks energetically. But let's talk about the waterline. There's above the waterline and there's below the waterline.
So when you were indicating earlier that to the extent that we are aware of our choices, that we slow down enough to become aware of our choices, we begin to have some options and some power. And I just wanted to make a very particular distinction. If you're riding along in the Titanic and you are alert enough to see an iceberg and an obstacle and this and that and the other thing at the level of the waterline, then absolutely you can make choices. This analogy only goes so far, but I'll pursue it. If you take the responsibility to become more and more alert and aware of what is going on above the waterline and below the waterline, then you have even more options that present themselves. And the more options there are, the more power we have, because the more empowered we are to make choice. So the more, the worst possible situation you can be in is to have one or two options. When you have, the more you add on, the more empowered you become. So now, what we are talking about, and it is a big component of what cutting edge consciousness is all about, is explore. We're explorers, and we're looking at where are the opportunities to gain more and more power. So yes, it is about learning to be alert to what is above the waterline, and it is also about consciously choosing to look below the waterline in ourselves, not in others, in ourselves, to understand, well, where is my charge here? Referencing back to the political discourse in this country. What is my personal charge on it? How helpless do I feel about it, or how complacent do I feel about it, or how bitter, or how resigned, and to take ownership of these feelings. Well, I feel resigned, and I feel hopeless. My goodness. Now, once I own these feelings, I can see where they are being reflected out, and I am diminishing my capacity to respond. On the other hand, by owning that, wow, this is a reflection of my own complacency, I then have an opportunity to do something about it.
Right.
To become fired up, to take different actions, and not to be complacent about it. Because the world, in our view, I know we both share this view, the world is a mirror that symbolically represents what is going on internally.
Right.
For each of us.
And what happens is all of these feelings that are coming up are either expressed consciously or unconsciously. And for most people, it comes out unconsciously. They don't recognize what they're investing their energy in. They may be investing their energy in complaining, and they may invest their energy in all myriad of things.
And their state of mind is, I'm a complainer.
That's right.
And
so maybe the complacent complainer, which is really brilliant.
Filtered through, I'm a complainer.
Right.
Everything gets filtered through that state of mind.
But there is the opportunity when we take full responsibility for everything, at least in terms of how we experience it. And let me say again, at least in terms of how we experience it. Whether actually we're making it up or anything like that, I'm not talking about that right now.
Sure.
I'm just talking about to the degree that we understand how we're experiencing it, we have choice. And that is a perspective that allows us to make what I call constructive choices versus what I call destructive choices. Oftentimes when we go unconscious, we go on a particular ride. You and I have referred to this as crashing the bus. When we let fear drive the bus, it usually crashes. When we let, these sort of unconscious, negative associations built on all kinds of past history that's been accumulated to prove that, in fact, there are bad guys in the world and the world is going to hell in a bucket. All of those kinds of ways that we build up a head of steam unconsciously, and then we allow that to drive the bus, we will likely crash the bus. That is destructive. Constructive, underneath the waterline in our own lives, means we choose what we want to participate in and what we don't want to participate in. We choose where we want to give our energy and where we don't want to give our energy. And in that, we become profoundly powerful.